Hello everyone, this is me Debosmita Sharkar. Today we are going to talk about the Indian Constitution. So let's begin. Introduction. Society has constitutive rules that make it and differentiate it from other kinds of societies. In large societies in which different communities of people live together, constitutive rules are formulated through consensus, and in modern countries this consensus is available in writing form, which we call a constitution. Why does a country need a constitution? All democratic countries are likely to have a constitution, but on the other hand, it is not necessary that all countries that have a constitution are democratic. The constitution serves several purposes as listed below. First one is a constitution tells us what the fundamental nature of a society is. A constitution helps serve as a set of rules and principles that all persons in a country can agree upon as the basis of the way in which they want the country to be governed. Three significant reasons why we need a constitution. In democratic societies, the constitution often lays down rules that guard against the misuse of authority by our political leaders. The constitution ensures that a dominant group does not use its power against less powerful people or groups. The constitution helps to protect us against decisions that could have an adverse effect on the larger principles that the country believes in. The Indian Constitution. Key features. A group of 300 people became members of the Constituent Assembly in 1946 and had written India's constitution. While writing the Indian constitution, these members kept in mind the different communities who speak different languages, belong to different religions, and have distinct cultures. First is federalism. This refers to the existence of more than one level of government in the country. In India, we have governments at the state level and at the center, and Panchayati Raj at the village level. The constitution contains lists that details the issues that each tier of government can make laws on it. In addition, the constitution also specifies where each tier of government can get the money from for the work that it does. All persons in India are governed by laws and policies made by each of these levels of government. Number 2 is parliamentary form of government. The people of India have a direct role in electing their representative. Also, every citizen of the country, irrespective of his or her social background, can contest in elections. Number 3, separation of powers. There are three organs of government: the legislature, which refers to elected representative by the people. Second is the executive, which is a small group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. And third is the judiciary, which refers to the system of courts in India. Each organ mentioned above acts as a check on other organs of government. This ensures the balance of power between all three. Legislature. A legislature is a deliberative assembly with the authority to make laws for a political entity such as a country or city. Legislatures form important parts of most governments. In the separation of powers model, they are often contrasted with the executive and judicial branches of parliamentary government. The executive. The executive is the branch of government exercising authority in and holding responsibility for the governance of a state. The executive executes and enforces law. In political systems based on the principle of separation of powers, authority is distributed among several branches, executive, legislative, judicial, an attempt to prevent the concentration of powers in the hand of a single group of people. In such a system, the executive does not pass laws, the role of the legislature or interpret them, the role of the judiciary. Instead, the executive enforces the law as written by the legislature and interpreted by the judiciary. The executive can be the source of certain types of laws such as a decree or executive order. Executive bureaucracies are commonly the source of regulation. The judiciary. The judiciary is the system of courts that adjudicates the legal disputes and interprets, defends, and applies the law in legal cases. Now, the fourth is the fundamental rights. The Constitution guarantees the rights of individuals against the state as well as against other individuals. It also guarantees the right of minorities against the majority. The fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution include the right to equality, the right to freedom, the right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Fundamental rights have twofold objectives. Every citizen must be in a position to claim fundamental rights, and the second is the fundamental rights must be binding upon every authority that has got the power to make laws. The Constitution also has a section called Directives Principles of State Policy, which ensure greater social and economic reforms and serve as a guide to the independent Indian state to institute laws and policies. Five is secularism. A secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. So with this we came to the end. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to comment in the comment section below. Bye bye. Stay home and stay safe and stay healthy.